Hello, hi guys, welcome to another After Effects tutorial. My name is Jayla Scanlon and today we're going to be talking about layers within After Effects. So in the last tutorial we talked about some of the tools within the tools panel, and now we're going to talk about layers. And like the tools panel, unfortunately we will not be covering every layer because we just won't be using them within this course. And so the first thing we want to do to add a layer is click on Layer, New, and now we have a few different layers that are available to us. With the text layer, we have already covered that, and we can just use the text tool on our tools panel. The one we want to look at is the solid. Control Y is the shortcut on the keyboard, and it will be Apple or Command Y on your Apple Mac computers. So we want to click Enter, and now it's giving us some settings. With these settings, usually just want to make it the composition size and keep it the same depending on your purpose. But solids are usually good for if you're wanting to make shapes, if you wanted to make a backdrop of some sort, like a dark and faded type look. And I'll show you what that looks like actually. So if we hit OK, we now have a new layer, and we can always change the name of any layer by just hitting enter on your keyboard, and then I'll just name it background. And then now that you have this black solid, because it's above everything else, you cannot see anything else. And so what we want to do is we have our um, masking tool. What I selected was the elliptical, which is the circle, eclipse tool, and if we double click that, it forms a circle within that solid that we have, that black solid. And because it's an add, we want to subtract it because we want to have a hole where that circle is, like so, because we're going to use this background as a kind of a backdrop. And so if we go to masks, to this arrow just on the left, we have a few controls that we can play with. And what solids are usually used for is for backgrounds. And so if you go to the mask feather, and if you just you know go up a little bit, you can now see a kind of you know a pretty cool effect that you can use with the solid. And so if you click, um, now that you can see, you can have a pretty cool looking background, or like you can see how you can use this layer in different ways. And so that's your solid layer. We can bring that down. Notice that you can move your layers up and down by just click holding and dragging above and below um, other layers. Now the next layer we want to look at is solid. We're not going to be using the light. We won't be using the camera or the null. Though if we start talking about 3D space, we will start introducing those two layers. The shape layer we won't be using in this course, but the only other layer we will look at is the adjustment layer. The adjustment layer allows you to add effects, and the reason why adjustment layers are used is because they're used on top of footage or images to change the look without actually changing the properties of a video of footage or image. So if you were to add an effect on the footage, then you change the footage itself, and then if you were to save that, then your footage will be altered completely. Like you won't be able to get the original back. And that's what adjustment layers are for. Adjustment layers allow you to be able to add the same effect, but it won't change the properties of your image or footage. You will still have the original. And so what I did was here in the effects and presets, you can type what type of an effect you want if you know what it is. Otherwise, you can go up here to effect, and then you have all the different types. Let's just select that, and we have all these different types of you know effects that we have. And so what I want to do is with the adjustment layer, you can drag the effect that you want, and make sure you drag it onto the adjustment layer. Notice that everything below this adjustment layer has the glow effect. So if we were to move one of these above the adjustment layer, it will not be affected because the adjustment layer only affects those that are um, below that layer. And so that's pretty much it for these layer tutorials. In the next few tutorials, we'll start getting into the different kinds of effects that you can use how you can better make your video color corrected and all that kind of good stuff. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. My name is Jayla Scanlon, and we will see you in the next tutorial.